I thought we did a good job of having 2 back-to-back 5-game weeks. Ended up, I think, 9-1 and 2-5 back-to-back 5-game weeks. So those are always a struggle for you, a big burden on your pitching staff, especially. So I thought we did a real good job this weekend. I thought we did an excellent job being able to bounce back after we got punched. We got hit pretty hard this weekend, which was good to see kind of what we were going to do. And I thought the guys did a good job of bouncing back. Kind of got caught in two firefights, but we've got the team that can kind of hang in those conditions. And then we're able to come back on Sunday and get back to playing a little bit more realistic baseball, trying to pitch and play defense. And we were able to do that on Sunday and win the series. So that's a good week for us, a good 2 weeks of 2 5-game weeks. We'll go back this week to 1 game in the middle of the week and get back to a good practice. We haven't been able to practice much in those 5-game weeks. You got to give them off Monday, and then really you got to give them off Thursday also when you play a 5-game week. So this will be a good week for us, and then we'll head out Thursday to head down to Troy. So again, I thought a good week. I think we need to press on and continue to take on the next challenge. Like Coach Latif said just a minute ago, I mean, you play against 2 things in this business. You play against yourself and you play against the game. And so every team that you play is just really a test to see if you can handle yourself in the game. And this weekend we were fortunate enough to do that. And again, I think our guys did a good job of back-to-back 5-game weeks. That's just a grind. We're fortunate a lot of that's at home and not a lot of that's on the road. So again, we'll off today, get after it again with Tulane, and then a day of practice, and then we'll travel Thursday to Troy, get ready for another tough weekend for Sun Belt Conference baseball. Questions you might have?
19 games at home and 10 on the road. Are you at the point of the season now where you need to go get tested a little bit more, traveling and all that?
Well, I think it's good. I mean, I think you got to be good on the road. I think we have been good on the road up to this point, but I agree you don't want to stay at home too much and get too settled in, because we've got a great fan base here, and you get used to a routine, and all of a sudden you get flip-flopped out of that routine. So yeah, I think it's important that we get on the road. It's important that we continue to win every series, especially the ones that are on the road.
Coach, with the type of weekend that you had, like you said, there's a lot of runs scored.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, you had to stretch out bullpen a little bit. How big was Connor Tubes coming in yesterday, and how's that going to help you down the stretch?
Well, huge. We pick up another lefty. Picking up Griff has really helped us, and I mean, Harrison is throwing in rehab right now. Last week he was 90-91. So if we can pick him up, we'll pick up Milhorn here pretty soon, and we'll pick up hopefully Trace Guidry back up, and then Sharp and Shea back up. So hopefully if we can keep holding on, these guys are bridging a great gap for us to be able to pick up these other arms. So, but Connor did a great job for us. He hadn't had a lot of work, but the work he was having when he came in was good. And that gives us another rock-solid lefty out of the pen. A guy can probably start before it's over. I think he can be a starter before it's over. So, and he did a great job of working while he waited his turn. I think that's so important. So many people want to change the circumstances around themselves, but they don't want to change themselves first. And when you change yourself first, then your circumstances around you change. And so, a lot of times, if you're not playing, you have to work on you. And I thought he did a great job of hanging on and working while he waited, because when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. But what most people do that aren't getting a lot of at-bats or innings as pitchers, they stop working. And then all of a sudden their opportunity comes, like it did for him, and then they're the same person they were 2 weeks ago, so they don't do good, and they go back to exactly where they were. He didn't do that. He put in a lot of work for the last 2 to 3 Sundays. Every Sunday when the weekend series is over, whoever didn't throw goes back in the bullpen and actually throws in a simulated bullpen. So they're getting their work in even though they're not throwing in the game. So I thought Connor did a great job, and hopefully that's the epitome of this team, is the guys that are not getting a lot of work, are not getting a lot of playing time, continue to work while they wait.
Harrison threw basically a strike on that play at the
Yes.
plate, but he was sort of joking afterwards that after the surgery he had no idea where a throw like that's going to go or whatever. What did the surgery involve? Where is he on that, and how much do you really realistically be able to expect to get out of him if you're able to use him on the mound?
Well, we knew the surgery would actually allow him to come back and be a hitter and a position player. We thought that he'd have to definitely hit the cutoff man early in the year, And then all of a sudden, he bounced back from his surgery really quick and started to throw really well. Actually surprised all of us how far ahead he was. And then he's in a 14-step cycle of a 15-step situation. And now he's throwing to live batters. This will be his second day today. Every Monday he throws to live hitters. So the week before he was 85 to 87, and then last week he was 86 to 89, hit 291s. So he's coming along good. He's throwing the breaking ball again. Now today he'll throw live to hitters and be able to bring the breaking ball in with him. So he's really moving. It's hard to put a timetable on it, but we'll definitely, I think, have him back maybe by the end of April. And when you're talking about a guy, you know, before he got injured was, you know, 92 to 94 with a big time breaking ball, a swing and miss breaking ball, put you away breaking ball. So if we get this guy back, you know, along the way, that's gonna do nothing but help us down the stretch.
I know you said you guys, you know, aren't really hung up on all the ranking stuff and never talked about that to begin with, but to almost have that lifted now, is that a good thing in your mind in terms of they can just continue to play baseball? Because some of them do, as much as you want to keep it out of them, they do think about it,
They hear it and see it, you know, but we try to really deflect it as much as we can because, again, this has been our motto from day one. I think Butler used this as their slogan one year in basketball, was that, you know, we don't have to be ranked first to be first. And that's kind of what we tell our players all the time. If we woke up that morning and we were in first place whenever that occurred, and that guaranteed us something, then I think we can hang our hat on it. The problem is, it doesn't guarantee anything. You saw the punch in the mouth we got from Western, right? I mean, they didn't look too scared because we were ranked #1. So I think that thing does more to you to get the other people ready to play you than anything. So we're trying to stay away from it. But whatever happens to it happens. We don't really care because, again, there is no guarantee. You do not have to be ranked first. Fresno was not ranked first the year they won the College World Series in baseball. In fact, they barely made the regional and won it all. And in this business, when you get hot in a sport, you can go a long way. So it is what it is. We don't really care what happens to it, but we're going to try to do what we want to keep doing, and that's pitch, play good defense, and get timely hitting. We did not do that Friday. We didn't do it Saturday. We did hit. And then Sunday, we finally came back out and pitched and played defense and got timely hitting, more of what we want to do. So that's more of a focus on us right now than it is the rankings. I think the rankings will take care of itself. Again, that's somebody else's opinion of us, and I don't care about other people's opinions.
Coach, what about, talk a little bit about Jace. He's you know, the first couple of years here, he's done some things at the plate, but he's been more about his glove and what he gives you on defense. But this year, it looks like he's really, I mean, just even pitches out on that home run he hit, he just reached out for that pitch.
Well, I think, again, hitters get better over time like pitchers do because they get more at-bats, they play the game more. And, I mean, you go back and just take a peek at Evan Longoria's career. I mean, he wasn't even recruited out of high school. I mean, no, not one Division I team recruited him, and not one pro team even talk about him. And the guy's a prolific hitter in the big leagues, making millions and millions of dollars. Over time, you can get better in this sport if you put the time in, and Jace puts a lot of time in. And the one thing Jace has too, he had it all the way down when that Little League team went to the World Series. They went off of his passion. Jace got a lot of passion, and he kind of drives our train, and that's what you want from a guy like that, to step up in big situations like he did. Do you want to put that burden on him for 56 games? Not really, but you know, he's a gamer. He's going to step up when it's time to step up, and he's learning how to channel his hatred to lose. That's what I think he's doing a better job of, is because it's win or death with him. I mean, that's the only two options he really subscribes to. And last year was good, but I think he's learning now how to channel that and use it better. I think think that's why he's getting better at his craft.
As far as your batting lineup goes, this might be a question people who've known you longer might know, but on a day-to-day basis, do you have something against having a set lineup? Do you go by gut feeling day-to-day? How do you set it usually?
We try to set it by the pitcher that we're gonna face, who's matching up against that pitcher the best, whether it's a lefty or righty, first of all. Second thing we try to base it off of is, believe it or not, is the wind blowing in, is it blowing out? I mean, I think that makes a difference. We also base it off of batting practice that day, and the day before, watching, Coach Lateef, he alluded to it a minute ago, he had a hitter, 2 or 3 days before, didn't want to go out there, then all of a sudden now, they don't think anybody can get him out. Hitting is so mental that it changes day to day with them sometimes, and so you want to watch their BP. You can tell in batting practice a lot of times who's feeling good, who's seeing the ball good, so we'll adjust it according to that. So we will adjust that lineup many different ways. Jeff runs the statistics, and we pay attention to a lot of the statistics on we even statistics from last year that we watch. When did we score most of our runs? Who was hitting in the 3, 4, 5 hole? Where was everybody at the time? So we'll constantly look at a lot of stuff and then try to come up with a lineup that night that we think's the most conducive lineup for us to be successful in. So it's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. That's why you see a different leadoff hitter sometimes for us. And I think we've settled in a little bit more, but we will make adjustments off of what we're going to face and who we're going to see.
He went back out, but with Butler fine after,
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He got it a couple times, but he's fine. BT got it once, but they're all good. They're all good right now.
What's been clicking for Butler recently with the power numbers starting to go up?
Well, I think confidence. This whole thing is hitters are unique creatures. They when they believe they can hit, and when they believe they can hit, they can. And it only takes sometimes one at bat, one ball. They can hit one ball hard, boom, man, you got 2.5 weeks with him, feeling good, and then all of a sudden they can go back to where they were. So it's a constant, as a hitting coach, talk about it all the time. You got to be 50% of your time as a hitting coach, the other 50% as a mental coach, because you're constantly handling somebody that's failing 70% of the time. And if they get too result oriented and start looking at results, like one game he hit 2 of the hardest balls I've ever seen hit, and he was out. You look at Compton's at bats the other day, he hit so many balls in the nose but was out. So they start pressing, they start thinking, man, I gotta hit it even harder. I gotta try to swing even harder, and they can get away from what got him there. So I think he's got a lot of confidence right now. He's in a good part of the order where he can sit right there and go to work and turn our lineup over. When you turn that lineup over, that's important because the 3, 4, 5 hole hitter is going to get an extra at bat. If you fail to turn the lineup over, we talk about that all the time as pitchers. We don't want to turn the lineup over so that we can leave the 4, the 5 hole, maybe even the 3 hole hitter on deck. Because when you got some special people in your lineup like Wilson at Georgia State, you want to minimize that guy's at bats. I mean, I was counting, where Flattery was coming back up again, at the end of the game. There's certain guys you keep track of them, and you don't want them to get that extra at bat, and they won't get it if you could not turn over the bottom of the order. And what Butler's been able to do for us is continue to turn over the bottom of the order.
Tony, a lot of times, and you've been coaching a long time, and you talk about how your team handles success, and you want to be on top, you want to win it all, but the real test of a team is how you handle being ranked high and winning, and everybody jumping on you and saying how great you are.
Sure.
And all the teams you had, is this team handling it maybe as good as any team you've had as far as right now in this part of the season?
I think so. We talk all the time about this business. It's a unique business that, the same guy patting on your back today, he's stabbing a knife in your shoulders 2 weeks from now. So the best thing you want to watch out for is, stay away from all of that because, it can turn on you quick. It's fleeting. You got to be in it for the long haul. And make sure we keep our inner circle small, that when you start to be successful, people want to try to get into your circle. We can't allow anybody into our circle unless they were in the pool with us in the fall in 40-degree weather, or if you saw them running with us at 6 in the morning when it was 32 degrees and raining out there, whoever you saw on the side of you, will let him in the circle. But right now, they can't get in the circle, don't let them in. And so that's what we want to do. We want to try to keep the circle really tight and really close, and just keep moving forward, because again, we're only halfway up the mountain, you know. And we told them the story about the Lakota Indians a long time ago when they had to become a brave. You know, they'd send them, they have to climb this very high mountain, and up at the top they'd always have this red sash tied to a tree. And so the two Indian boys would take off, and they had to bring back, you know, the sash, but along the way they'd always put one about halfway up the mountain, you know. And so inevitably the two Indian boys would come back, and they each had a red sash, you know, and they'd unroll them. And one of them was longer than the other, and that's the one they knew that climbed all the way to the top of the mountain. The other one took the one halfway up. And so we got to be careful. We're only halfway up, and so we talk to them about that all the time, about, you know, how long, you know, does your sash want to be? You want the long one or the short one? And so we keep trying to, you know, talk to them about that and making sure they understand certain things. But I think they're handling it good, because I don't think it's one of their goals. I really don't. I think they have one goal, and they really want to just compete. And when you have that as a goal, it helps you go out every night and play, because they're not really playing for the attention. They're not really playing for anything except they've got the honor and the privilege to compete tonight. And I think they want to back up the name that they wear on their jersey. We talk about that a lot too, you know, being able to back up the name you wear on that shirt. So because of that, I think they're handling it good. You never know. I'm not with them every day, you know. But our biggest goal is to just really keep our inner circle as tight as we can, and get them to understand, you know, that you can't let anybody else into this circle. You have to keep it close. And there's hikers and campers on the way up the mountain. You know, we got to stay hikers and not pitch a tent up and, you know, camp. We have to keep hiking.
You talked about getting back to real baseball on Sunday. That you had Tulane game earlier this year was more of that type game. Is you're looking for something again? From
Well, you know, that's coming from the pitching coach. You know, he don't want to see a 22-21 game, believe me. So we want to try to get back on track of pitching, and we caught a hot team. Those guys swung the bat well all weekend, really. But I think they knew they had to swing the bat because of the fact that we could swing the bat, and so it created everybody swinging the bat. And so tomorrow, I don't know. This week with Tulane, you know, it's a midweek game. You hope that we can keep the score down and just stay on what we try to do best. We want to pitch first, unequivocally, and then we want to play good defense. And then we didn't really do that in the doubleheader that we played. We didn't play up to our standards in defense. We didn't pitch as good as we wanted to pitch, and because of that, we thank God we have a team that can bail us out when those two things fall. But to think that you can go out every night, not pitch and play defense, and keep hitting your way through something, that's a misnomer. We need to really get back to pitching and playing defense like we did Sunday. So yeah, I hope we can bring Sunday's mentality back into this midweek game. And then to Troy, that's not an easy place to pitch in. Ball gets out of there. They've got a ton of home runs. It's a small ballpark. So as a pitching coach, you know, we're going to have to really work hard, and hopefully Tuesday can lead us into the weekend. But this will be a tough weekend for us, I think, as a pitching staff, just because their ballpark can play small. I think our hitters are going to like it, but we as pitchers are going to have to handle that.
Have you determined tomorrow or?
Not yet. We're going to go out today and kind of talk about it. Some of the things we're thinking about is bringing, you know, Wilson maybe into the weekend with us, so we don't know. We want to go see where Milhorn is today, and just try to look at a few things, and then determine a start. I think no matter who starts, we'll probably throw some of the bullpen guys and keep trying to develop them. I think it's helped Toops for sure. I think it's helped Griffith for sure along the way by being able to do that, and hopefully we can get enough of those guys to where hopefully we can maybe start shortening some of the games a little bit, and not have to worry about, you know, Austin and Baronick going 9 innings all the time and trying to trim trim some of their workload off too by having that good quality bullpen. So we'll throw a lot of people no matter what, but for us, for the starter, we don't know if it'll be Wilson yet because we might bring him into the weekend for us. So we'll determine that probably sometime this afternoon, and I'll give it out to Jeff to get it out to y'all.
Any more questions?
Thanks, guys.